Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Quarter Variant at a Time, your favorite comic podcast with my co-host Roy and the dogs. I got one dog I kept the loudest dog in the room, so that way y'all don't have to hear, right? Kayla, you a good dog.
That's the
She,
best way to do it, I guess.
she wanted to come in here and she's like, I want to be a part of the podcast. I'm like, as long as you know that you're sequestered in this room for an hour, as the rest
Yeah,
of you, as the rest of you are as well.
you're all in or all out. It's one or the other.
So, Roy, how are you doing today, brother? How's your comic life going?
My comic life, it's going pretty well, I guess. Like the other day was my birthday, and so I spent that day just refiling comic books like a madman because I needed like more spaces and boxes and you buy a like it got so bad that I bought a box that I was like, now here's a box where I can put my comics to hold them until I'm ready to file them. And then the next day
You have
was
like
a
that middle
full
box.
box of unfiled comic. Right. So that happened to me about 2 boxes worth. And I was like, well, biscuits. And so I sat down on my birthday and I redid it all and I got it all done. But because of that, when we go through the new comics, I'm gonna cheat and just show the covers off my CLZ app because I just spent all that time filing them away. And then we were at Fanboy Expo all weekend long. I read no comic books. I don't, you know what I mean? And after all that filing, I wasn't gonna go digging through the boxes to dig them out. So I'm
So
gonna
you
cheat
already put
today.
them in boxes? The books you bought this week, you already
Yeah,
made that
man.
far
I
into the
I
game?
did it all. Like no half measures around here, man.
That's great.
But my comic book life is still great because we went to Fanboy Expo and that was off the chain, man.
It was, dude. It was a lot of fun, man. Like, so that's honestly first, I guess, first segment while we ease into this. We went to Fanboy Expo. You were there all 3 days. I missed out on some of Friday and then all of Saturday. But like, so the thing is like I got to meet what I like. Kevin Eastman was the big draw, let's say. He's
Sure.
all over all the stuff. It was a big Turtles thing. Kevin Eastman was the big draw, but Ian McDermott was there, who is Emperor Palpatine, and I think that's a pretty big deal to me. That's like,
Sure.
I mean, that's big. That movie has been seen by many people.
Yeah.
So I got to meet him a few times doing what we were doing there for Agents of Slabs and CGC and everything. But tell me, walk me, because you met different people than me. You did it a little different than me. And Friday as it's starting is always the best day to do that, which is what you got to do. So walk me through your Fanboy Expo, kinda.
Yeah. So I had a great time. Like once again, like so much appreciation. It's hard to describe how awesome it is to be able to go and do all these off the wall things. Like I said, I don't work here. I'm not an employee. And yet here I go like all the time. And so anyways, so we go in there and thank God Agents of Slab, like that's a good setup. It's nice and quick and easy. You know what I mean? We're not in there toting boxes and stuff like we did for MegaCon. So that was cool. And then after that, it's just Ollie Ollie Oxen free. Friday was pretty dead, like you were saying. And so we already had like set books that customers wanted us to get SIGs on. So set out to do that. Shout out to Joe Merritt for being a champion and a wonderful human being.
Yeah, Joe.
But so we set out to get those signatures, and sure enough, man, you got to spend a lot more time with these celebrities because no one's really there yet. And so I got to I met like I don't there's not many people who were there that I didn't eventually meet. So that was super super cool, and I got to meet people that were like a big deal to me. I'm always joking about Howard the Duck being the only acceptable comic book movie, but that doesn't include the Superman movies from the 80s, of course. And Superman 2 is just like the best movie ever. You'll never convince me it's not. It gave us Neil before Zod, and the cultural implications are limitless. You know what I mean? So I
So
got to
many people
meet,
have said that line. Like,
yeah, it's all over. And so there's more to the movie than just that, obviously, but that alone is the ticket. So we go and I get to meet Sarah Douglas, who was Ursa, and Brian O'Halloran, I believe,
yeah,
who
yeah,
was
yeah.
Jan. and they were just phenomenal. Like, she was so rad. And like, who didn't watch Conan as a kid and who my age and see Queen Tamaris and, you know, kind of set the stage. And so, you know me, like, I immediately began to flirt with this lady because,
Because she
you know,
was a
it's,
childhood crush, you
yeah,
know.
it's like, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever. And she was super cool about it because, of course, she's old enough to be my mom and change. You know what I mean? So she just takes it all in stride. I'm sure I'm not the craziest person she's come across. Uh, so that was rad. And then I got to meet Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which is Francois Petit and Chris Casamassa. And
Mhm.
like, Mortal Kombat is a huge deal in my life. Like, I used to dump quarters into that at the movie theater, and it transferred. Like, my kid every now and again will feel froggy and come out and challenge me to some Mortal Kombat, and most likely catch a hat in the face. But it's a family thing for me. And so to be able to go and see these people like that are such a part of things that are integral in my life is always fascinating. And of course, Friday's the day to do that. And then that just continued for the rest of the weekend. And then my real top thing above all was being able to volunteer for Agents of Slab and be able to help guide people through lines and stuff like that, and meet these super fans, get to touch their awesome, like, precious collectibles and get them all prepared, and then help them get that, you know, facilitate getting it signed the way they want. And like, it becomes incredible because like, people are like, you know, at first they're worried when you handle your stuff, but when they see
Mhm,
that you're
mhm.
you're solid, then you can see their confidence grow in you, and that's fun. And then next thing you know, they're asking you what you think they should do. Like, how do you think I should get this signed? And I'm like, bro, who am I, man? But you know, I'm a guy who will definitely give you his opinion. That
Yep,
too. So
yep.
you know what I mean. So I get to, you know, and some people took my advice, some people didn't. More power either way. You know, if you
Right,
didn't take
right.
my advice, it still guided you to the, you know, what you wanted, which is all I really want for you. And then they achieve that goal, man, and it's an amazing thing. Like, I don't know, like,
It's wild to see, because like for maybe for people like us, like we're hardcore, right, in the comic industry. But we talked about it actually when I went to go meet Grant Gustin. Like, Flash is my favorite hero and this and that, but because I've done this, because of who I am, and because of the situations I've been in before, between covering college football and national championships and going to other conventions, I was nervous, right? Like we talked about, I wish I would have had him run Barry run instead of
sure.
Danny or whatever. But like,
Oh, the
eh,
hindsight on these things is
oh,
vicious.
that right, like it is. But it was cool when people are like, you could tell, right? Like there's the occasional person who's gonna get something signed by, whether it be Eastman or Ian or John Ray Davies is where I saw it,
Yeah,
that people are just like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna meet him." I can like, and then like afterwards, when he took a picture for free and he hugged them and this and that and that, and it's like, oh my god, like I told you that I saw one girl, it wasn't one of our clients, but it was just one girl. He used her hair to do the mustache, like he was the from Lord of the Rings, and that's the picture that they took and everything, and that's on top of everything she got signed, right? And
yeah,
she goes to the guy on the side, the handler, and she's like, "You just made my day." And it's like, bro, like there's too much crappy things in this world to not
yeah.
be able to crack a smile when you see that, whether it's happening for you or whether it's happening for somebody else.
I
Like,
like it better when it's for someone
yeah,
else,
to just be
really.
happy, just to put a smile on your face, man. And
Yeah.
it was cool, man. And you could see it a lot with Kevin Eastman too, like the people getting Kevin Eastman autographs, because like there's people getting comic book signed, and then there's people getting like
Oh, dude.
everything else in the world signed. You
Everything.
know, I saw a few different people, whether it was props or 3D printed, but they had the ooze, the
Yeah, yeah, the
canister of ooze.
canister
Yep, had
from
TD.
TGRI.
Yep, had that whole thing. So that was dope. You said that you saw somebody that had the back of the turtle
Yeah,
van.
they had their turtle van and the back door swings open, you know, and so they had disengaged that piece so they could just get that piece signed. And I'm like, man, that's genius. Because you know
Yeah.
that guy at his house, he's got it all set up. You know,
Oh,
he's
for
got
sure.
some battle scene. And now the back of that door is swung open and it says Kevin Eastman on it, and I don't know if he wrote anything else, but either way,
I'm sure he did, because the thing I noticed about Eastman, and you
remarks.
you were there right at the end. You were like, gosh, there was maybe 10 people behind you at that point because it was the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I heard him at one point. He said something about like he was still chipper. What's up, Daryl? He
Oh
was still
yeah.
chipper. And then he said something about like, oh, thank you for waiting so long or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, what do you got to thank me for? Like, thank you for staying and signing my things. Like,
Yeah.
like
I told him
it's
I've been
cool.
waiting since 1984. So, today's drop in the bucket, man. I don't care.
So
It's nothing. Like, I wasn't even like, I didn't even plan on going to meet him
yeah,
because, while I can't wait to get fully authorized through Agents of Slab so I can actually witness signatures. Right now, all I can really do is clerical work. And then if needed to make the customer happy, bro, I'll go stand in line for you, and I got to do
yeah,
that.
hold their place in line.
Yeah, and then not better than that though. I went to hold the guy's place in line, explain to him the whole situation, and I'm like, and I'm here, so you're free. And he's like, I'll just stay. And he's like, but like you can hang out if you want to. And I was like, bet. So we just stood there with him, you know what I mean, and kept him occupied, got to know him and his girl. And you know me, by the time it's over, I've chatted to everyone in a 20-person radius.
I walked up to you the one point where he did step out to go look for something or
Yeah,
whatever. And you're talking to the guy behind you, the person
yeah,
in front of you. It's
yeah,
just like Roy, y'all have lived. It's funny though, we've talked about it before in terms of vendors. You get you become trauma buddies.
yes,
Because you're all going through this convention experience together, whether it's waiting in lines or that the bathrooms suck or there's no food. Like
yeah,
whatever trauma is happening at this convention, you're all going through it together.
yes,
And it allows people to bond in a way. Plus, I think also the fact that we're all surrounded by things we love. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
This isn't running into somebody in the subway on their way to work or wherever they
right.
might. This is everybody paid money to come into and experience a comic convention.
Yeah, and
And
have that vibe, and
yep.
be around people they're comfortable around, and like absolutely amazing, man. Like the vibe was great, the people were great. Uh, what's another?
I
Go
will
ahead.
say if anybody that's watching is like I guess a Lord of the Rings or Indiana Jones fan, and like I barely knew John Rhys Davies. But if you're a fan and he's at a convention you're at and you've been on the fence, do it.
Now's your time. Yeah,
Do it because he is. I don't know what his prices are. I'm not gonna lie to you, but he's the nicest interaction in the world. Like his line was long, not because he is Kevin Eastman and he has a million fans, but because he has a good amount of fans and he takes, gosh, man, over 5 minutes with each person if you want it. If you're just getting a sign, you want to walk away and that's how you're comfortable you are, that's fine. But like,
right.
this one person had two things to sign. So he signed the first one, looks the man in the eyes, they speak. The guy must say something like I'm gonna assume I'm lip reading and improvising at this point, but it was something about like what his favorite scene was or something. And John Rhys Davies doesn't even reach for his second book to start signing it yet. Puts his pen down. He goes, you start hearing him talk like, "Oh, funny in that scene or in that when we were shooting that," and he just goes and tells a whole story before he then goes, "Okay, let me grab your other book,
That's
sign
cool.
it." And then most people are going to charge you for the photo and this and that, and he's over here giving everybody the photo and
Right.
forget about, hey, I'm on my side of the table, you're on your side of the table. He was letting everybody come to his side of the table. He was taking the pictures. If they were a couple, he would take a picture of both of them. And like if there was the man and woman or whatnot, what he would do is tell the man, get out of the picture. Now it's our turn, real funny and everything. And then afterwards he'd be like, all right, now it's our turn. And he'd do a picture with everybody. Like you'd have every
Yeah.
photo you wanted. And it was funny with the guys. Sometimes he'd be tickling them. He's like, come on, man, you gotta laugh better than that, because
Oh, that's cool.
guys are real timid in their pictures. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what the price of admission is to that show, but like worth every penny,
Yeah,
like
for
that's
sure.
one that I'll say. And Eastman's worth it. His prices were amazing. Like he was
Yeah,
super like attainable and everything. But like
yeah,
those types of people are what I feel like conventions are about now because like it's about
yeah.
it's about the journey as much as the destination.
Right. Yeah, like it snuck up on me, you know what I mean? Because like I'll be honest with you, when I was looking and like Scorpion and Sub-Zero is a perfect example. I saw that they were gonna be there, but like somehow it just didn't really click in my brain and it didn't really register. And I was very like, meh about it, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because we just rolled off MegaCon with like everybody and we like shook hands with like the A-listers and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But then like once you're there and you're seeing them, and like, especially because a lot of the times you're going for some kind of nostalgia factor.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
they
felt like
had,
this one was '80s con, right? Like
yeah, and so
late
they had
'80s,
me, yeah,
early
they had me
'90s.
like 8 ways from Sunday. That, you know, it ends up being, and it's like, oh yeah, like how could I have not realized that like this is my chance? And then as a great addendum to that, I brought some guy over to get to walk him over to the line with Joe, and we didn't have the right, we wanted a blue marker, and his blue marker was dying, right? And I was like, well, hold on, because no one is as fast as me, and I know exactly what is a magnificent blue marker, and I'm off, right? And so I go and I run and get that marker, and I run back and I stop like just around the corner so I can catch my breath so I don't look like I'm wheezing and dying. But when I come around the corner, you know, they're there. And because I had to take any time at all, like Francois had launched into this whole story for this guy about how he like ended up in the end, like casting himself basically as Sub-Zero, which is actually like a prominent piece of that movie lore. And so, this guy got to get like that whole extra story on top of, you know, getting signed the way he wanted. And of course, it didn't hurt that he came on Friday. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it was like that with a lot of the like, yes, right. Ian McDermott's like super famous. So, like his line is a little more like, and even his wasn't. He was taking pictures and talking to people, but the strike makes things kind of weird because like certain people have to set
yeah.
the status quo of like I'm not talking about that or this or that. But like some people, it was awesome because what was this dude's name? Titus
Welliver,
Welliver or whatever.
I
Yeah,
believe
he's
it's
he's
Welliver.
been he was Bosch. He's also like in Mandalorian, I think.
Yeah. He's
But it
been
was
in like 2 episodes of everything you've ever
of
seen.
everything you've ever seen on
Yeah.
syndicated television for sure,
Yeah.
especially if it's a Criminal Minds
Yes.
like type of thing.
The guy's a cop or a space cop
Yep, yep,
or,
yep, yep. So he's talking, and he's not because obviously, so he's a guy who is not going to have a line of 20 people at any point in time, but is consistently going to have somebody at his table. Like it might be two, like he's always got somebody. And he's sitting there talking like, yeah, new season starts in October. Can't wait. Like, and he's not worried about it, right? Because at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong way to go about it. I believe you're just not allowed to talk about that stuff on a panel because, like, you know, yada, 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 whatever. But it
yeah.
was cool because everybody handled it their own way, dude. Like, I went up to man, I'm gonna mess up his last name. Timothy Brumfield, maybe. It was the guy he's from Revenge of the Nerds, Field of Dreams.
Oh,
He was
yeah. I
next to
don't,
Brian Tochi. Next to Brian
yeah.
Tochi.
Yeah. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, so he's been
I have
in
to see.
Revenge of the Nerds. He was in Field of Dreams. He's the brother, the guy that says like
Yeah.
this is stupid. Why are you doing this? But what I remembered him from, as I'm walking by for the second time, I'm like, dude, that's the main baseball player from Little Big League,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
like
That's right. You're telling me about this.
terrible
Yeah.
90s movie about a kid whose grandpa owns the Minnesota Twins, then dies and leaves the team to his grandson who's like 12. So the grandson names himself the manager, and their star player is Lou Collins, who is played by this guy. And I just
Right.
walked up to him, I'm like, dude, I just want to say, like, I'm sure you get it all the time, like, oh, Field Dreams, Revenge of the Nerds. He's in a third thing that's like on his banner that's like important. But I'm like,
Gotcha.
it was Big Lou Collins for me, baby. Like
That
was
was
really
that
bad.
was your hit for you. Yeah.
I'm like, I literally watched it like a month ago when it was on replay on MLB Network. Like, you know, it's just like that. So, and again, that's a movie from like mid to early 90s. Like this convention didn't have the A-listers of today, but
Right.
it absolutely had some amazing people from the like 80s and
Yeah.
or mid to early 90s. You know, a lot of the voice actors from the TMNT cartoons were
Right.
there. The
Yep.
voice actors from the first two TMNT movies. A lot of people from the TMNT movies. The screenwriter from the first two movies.
Yeah. It's
Obviously,
definitely the
the
theme. Like
Mortal Kombat guys.
if I don't hear anything about the Ninja Turtles for like 2 weeks after today, I'll be all right. Like, and that's my jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it
I
was
was
a
telling
lot because that was the theme. That was the pure theme of that
so much
show.
green. Like, just
So I saw so many people. I'd never seen so many people with like colored headbands, or I like, you know, I'd never seen it in my life. It was great.
yeah. Don't have a mask. Draw it on. No problem.
It's a great show. Now, if you guys notice, what we mostly all talked about the celebrities and comic people because the show vendor floor wasn't like amazing.
No.
But like if you are local to Orlando next year and you see that they got people you want to meet, absolutely do it. You know, that's where it's at, and do it Friday. If your person is there Friday, my best advice, because Sunday, I always advise people Sunday too, but Sunday was kind of busy.
I think that they probably didn't do what they thought they were going to do on Saturday, but then did over what they thought they were going to do on Sunday.
Yeah, but
I
it was a good show.
Yes.
Friday, it was at the Hyatt Regency, which was a nice hotel,
Oh
nice
yeah,
spot.
man.
Amenities were all there.
And it was cool
So
because sometimes the staff were kind of like towards you, but like they were
yeah.
like, whatever,
Yeah,
dude.
oh, hey, you're
Yeah.
here for the con. Good morning. We got tons of good mornings from the staff. Like it was
Yeah.
cool, man. So if you and they do the Fanboy does a few other shows like Knoxville and Vegas and stuff. So keep an eye on them, and if they're in your local area, worth checking out,
Totally
especially
worth
for
it.
their celebrity, like who their special guests would be. You know, they had
Yeah.
comic special guests as well, like Kevin Eastman. But it was totally worth it. Now, next segment, we're going to New Comic Book Day. Daryl just mentioned. I did not. I don't. Marvel Age is always a weird books. Like those books that like it's not a series, but it's a series. Are always weird. Did you pick that up, Roy? I know you haven't read anything, but did you pick it
Did
up?
I? I don't know. I probably did. I usually grab those. I don't even
All right.
know, man.
I
I
had
today
I
is
had a I had a light week because it was the end of Night Terror, so I'll show mine, and then you show yours.
it looks like I did not. Yeah, I got Marvel Age. I just haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay. So this is Lauren's. The cover she went with for Alice Never After is the 1 in 10
Sweet.
Virgin cover. She loves this series.
How'd she pass by the B? We're collecting this.
She didn't want the B. She put the B
Crazy.
back. She went for the 1 in 10. She put
That's
the B
what's
back.
up. If you're loving it, that makes it worth it every time.
Yeah, she put the B back. So, and then this is the finale of Night Terrors. I have not read this finale, but I've read more than half of everything Night Terrors at this point,
Yes, you
and
did.
I enjoyed it, man. It was 2 months. I talked with somebody at the shop, and I honestly think the best way to have told this though would have been an issue a week. For well, technically there was 6 because there's the Prelude and Night's End. So there's the Prelude, 1, 2, 3, 4, Night's End. So yeah, 6.
Right.
But an issue a week for 6 weeks, and you could have still dropped your side Night Terrors and everything like that, and I think you would have been able to get it done. I think 2 months was a long time to
It's been dry. It's been going on almost the whole time we've been doing this.
yeah. So it's just a long time. 7 episodes, like it could have been, yeah.
But if you were able to narrow it down and only collect what you and enjoyed what you collected, then it's a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I like the story, right? I like the story, but it did hinder a lot of people. A lot of people weren't interested in it. A lot of people decided to take a pause.
Sure.
And that might hurt the books that are going to come out in the next couple of weeks because they took those pauses. Who's to say those people are going to come back?
Right.
So on and so forth. Not everybody's dedicated like us and Daryl, and like it's a different game for us.
Yeah.
But
shout out to Nicole. Also, I saw you in there.
This is. I'm hype about this. I haven't read this yet because we've had a busy week, but this is the Action Comics Doomsday Special. Beautiful cover by the homie Bjorn Barnes.
Can't wait to land at a show with him, man.
And it's written by the homie Dan Waters.
Oh wow!
So
and the interiors are Eddie Barrows, right?
Yep.
That's a win, bro.
Clean interiors, man, and like again, I'm not reading Action Comics proper, but
right.
I don't have a problem with Superman, and I think some of his better villains, Zod and Mr. Mxyzptlk and Doomsday, like those are good villains. So I'm willing to read. I don't love Metallo, like there's certain villains.
He's never been my favorite either.
And Amaza, like there's a couple guys I don't give a crap about. But
I bought this book.
Yeah, I like Doomsday. And then I talked about this the show before because it was already out technically, but I just got my copy of Blackbird this past week. Bajingo by the homie Davey Lee. Where's his name on here? There it is. Davey Lee. He he's a nice guy. It's his publishing debut, I believe, or his published single comic debut. And it's technically an all ages book. That's what we like to call them at Blackbirds. All ages rather than young adult, because
I like that.
An adult can read this, right?
Yeah, who are you to decide that I'm too old to play with Legos?
Yeah. So it is because it's a scoop book. It's $4.99. It means it's a one shot, so you don't have to chase down issue 2. I mean, he very well could do like Strikes Again, and there's a second issue, but like this is a full clean one shot. Homie Davey Lee from the Space Coast out here in Florida. So if you're local, pick that up. I think the Blackbird had a couple copies left. R.I.P. to the GOAT. I don't do the foil covers as often as Roy. But when I saw they were so obviously, I think I own 2 copies of this book because I just love George Perez and I respect everything he
Yeah.
did for the industry. And he changed Wonder Woman. He did a lot of great things with Wonder Woman and right here. So I would have ordered this no matter what. But then I saw that there was a foil version of it for I think what was it, $5.99? It might have been $5.99. I had to get this. I mean,
Yeah.
I own 2 or 3 copies of the real printing of this.
Wow.
I own this, and I think I own one other reprinting. Might have been like a dollar reprint they did right before, right after the pandemic.
Awesome.
My favorite book.
That's
And then
cool.
I want to take this opportunity to remind people, not only do we do FOC, not only can you go to Previews World, most local comic shops at the end of the month or beginning of the month, depending on what their shipping cycle is, will receive DC Connect and Marvel previews. I don't bring a Marvel previews home because I don't care. But a
That's what's
Marvel
up.
previews. So this is a cool way. This is literally just your catalog for the month of November. Oh look, Beast World, which I think is going to be a great story, and we'll talk about that in a month or two when it comes out. But it's got
Huge
your
though.
checklist, and then look, there's your covers, and it gives you a synopsis, and it's pretty much the catalog for comic books. And I think it's something that people might not always know about. But your local comic, DC ones are free, at least 25 for your store, and then Marvel ones are free. So especially if you're a Marvel fan, just ask your store; they should be able to order it along with their Marvel books, even if they don't already. And it shouldn't cost them anything because everything it's free.
Right.
But Roy, what you got?
Let's see. Like I said, man, I'm gonna cheat this week. I'm sorry for that. I just
I'm gonna
underprepared.
make it full screen.
All right.
There we go. But you can still hear
So
me, right?
yeah, we're all good.
Perfect. We're great.
So I got World Tree number 5. I copped the B cover.
Ooh, that's pretty. I thought the B cover was a lot stronger in the A this week as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh man, you got to be kidding me. You know I got the Spider-Man India John Zhang
John
open order.
Jang. Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
like I don't think that he's put anything out open order that I haven't gotten yet. Like,
He hasn't put out anything pure, especially open order that hasn't been fire either.
yeah, not once. So I got Blade number 2.
There you go.
So I'm reading that, and then because like I don't know, like I feel bad if I like ordered something and I accidentally ordered 2 copies of that because what I really wanted was this Bill Sienkiewicz cover.
Oh, and that was open order, Sienkiewicz?
Yeah, and
Nice.
just somehow I got to I don't know I did it, you know, and once I said I wanted it, I'm gonna take
It's
it.
yours, right?
Yeah, I'm not that guy. If I order it, I'm gonna end up buying it. And sometimes it means you have 2 issues of Blade number 2. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh bro, the Ultimate Invasion.
Oh, that's dope. I've heard that
Stop it.
series has been good. I've heard.
Yeah, Travis is head over heels for it.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard a few. It's Jonathan Hickman, so like some of those people that loved House and Powers, like this is your chance to kind of see him doing something with no limits again. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And then they're gonna launch and like he's relaunching like Ultimate Comics in
Is that
general.
is that the Acuna cover? Is that the one Daryl's
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was gonna go back and show it one more time. It's Daniel Acuna. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Did you do plot? I saw Daryl said he loved plot holes. Did you pick up any copy? That was a Sean Murphy book.
I did not.
So that there's tons of. It's one of those books where I did tons of covers. It doesn't matter what cover you pick. The story seems interesting and honestly seems kind of like Ready Player One in a way, but comics, and they
Yeah,
don't. They're filling in the plot holes of crappy comics. Oh,
I guess there it is. So a lot of people got the A cover for this because it's that one. It's like he's on his knees with like the
yeah,
X
yeah,
and his
yeah,
skull is
yeah.
showing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful cover. Don't get me wrong, but like when I was doing my FOC, let's see if I can catch it one more time. There it is. Like that one's just too rad for me.
You
So that's
couldn't
the
pass it
Wolverine I
up.
landed on, and they're getting ready to wrap up this Weapon of Vengeance.
Yeah, Daryl. That I mean, I just don't see how they couldn't have done a better cover than that, especially with the way the story is going right now.
I mean, I just like to me, and don't get me. I mean, I love that picture. It's really beautiful, but like that spoke to '90s 12-year-old me. You know, Danny Ketch Wolverine, like about it. So I went with the, as discussed, the B cover for Alice Never After.
Oh, and I honestly thought that was where Lauren was going, but she'll surprise me sometimes. You know, she'll
Yeah.
surprise me.
Well, like that 1 in 10 is ruthless. It really is.
It's beautiful.
I got I got that local man because it looks like the Image Gold or the Deathmate. I mean,
Oh yes, the foil gold corner.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
foil gold and it's an homage to Deathmate. And like Deathmate, it's funny how like what is an inside joke to you is actually an inside joke to everybody. Because you can go meet anyone who's talking crap about like dollar books and be like, oh yeah, how many copies of Deathmate Black do you have, bro? And he's got like 4 or 5. Anyone my age has got 4 or 5 copies of Deathmate Black, Turok 1, Exo Manowar 1. This is
Oh my gosh,
garbage,
that
garbage,
Turok
garbage, and you
one,
buy
bro.
it every single time that you see it. You still buy it.
Well,
In fact, when we were at the sidewalk sale for Blackbird, this guy, I guess it was his birthday or something like that, and I don't really know. Like his friends had gotten together to buy him, like I believe the way it played out because only on the pref, that they got him this really dope Spider-Man comic book, and it'd make it like a gag gift. They encased it in garbage books, and like one of those books was Turok #1, and I'm like, dude, that's so funny. Like everyone, but like you say that book is garbage and use it as a prank, but you've got one, and you've got
yeah, you had
and
one
you've got
lined
way
up.
more than one. You're never gonna miss that one out of the 4 damn Turoks you have. So when they do the local man and it's an homage to Deathmate, like you got me.
Dude,
Plus
I
it's
can't wait.
foil.
I can't wait for the next year or two when we start getting Turok #1 homages.
They canceled that EXO. Yes.
Or the
Shut
Turok
up!
#1,
Don't
or the
summon that
Turok
on me,
#1
dude.
reprint facsimile, whatever.
Don't summon that on me, bro. They're gonna issue it non-foil.
Yeah.
So I got Deadpool Batter Blood. This is an Rod Reese has some connecting covers for this. I have the other one. It's for Children of the Vault. I can't see how it actually connects to this at all, but sometimes they do that these days. And then I don't even know what the third one is, so I don't know if I ordered it. Death to the Venomverse #3. I kept with the A cover because it's Bjorn.
Yeah, and I like that matching like frame almost that they have
Yeah, like
going.
it almost reminds you of the old like EC or Tales from the Crypt
Yeah,
type comics.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I like that.
Yeah, there's a couple issues of this series where they pulled me off of the Bjorn covers because they had something I thought was
Yeah.
dope. But other than that, I'm gonna stick with that. Also, Danny Ketch Ghost Rider is wrapping up pretty soon here.
Is that Kale?
No,
it's John Romita.
no. It's Ben Harvey.
Oh, is it Ben Harvey?
Yeah, but it's the idea here, and this one really didn't show up very well on the camera. Obviously, it's not an homage, but the style is very reminiscent of Mark Teixeira.
Love that.
Yeah, and that's like the old school '90s Danny Ketch stuff. I'm a little bit behind on this, but the first 2 issues were flame. There's no reason, like, unless they totally let it go ass over apple cart at the end. Like, you can't really ruin it. Like I said, if you're a '90s Danny Ketch Ghost Rider guy, no reason for you to not be reading this. Contest of Chaos continues. I'm not overwhelmingly impressed with the banner. If the banner is the best cover, the trade dress,
Yeah. The first,
that's
the A
fine.
cover that says. So that
But I
was
went with this
cover,
Moon
right?
Knight. I thought it was pretty rad. He's facing off against Takaguchi in this one. So get a little oh my lord, the name of the team just blanked right out of my head. Whiskers. I'll think about it in 20 minutes. You can go ahead and clown me if you want, and I almost dug it out of the box just so you could have a real good time with it. But I did get that Catwoman.
The foil, right? The foil.
Yeah, it's foil, dude.
Dude.
So it's just a reprint of all the covers, but all the
reprint of all the Catwoman covers that have looked really good over the last year.
Yeah, it's like a swimsuit issue, but it's foil and it's not by Nort. Like,
it's funny because I sold a ton, Wednesday morning, as I'm at the register, and I'm like, and obviously I'm not gonna say nothing bad about the book to nobody. I'm just and especially because of the system, right? So if it was already in your box, like you ordered that through Pull Box or something like that, like so you know what it is. I don't even got to sit there and hand it to you and be like, just so you know, this is yada yada yada.
Right.
But like I had one guy, he just looked at me, he goes, Yep. I'm buying a book with just covers. And he's like, and I bought it when it happened for Poison Ivy, and I bought it when it happened for Harley Quinn. And
Right.
and they did one for Libra Mayo with Batman.
Yeah.
Like I forget what that one was called. That one was magazine format.
Yes.
But that was the first time it happened. And I was like, this is weird. This is an odd thing to do.
Obviously, it's sold. You know what
It
I
did,
mean?
it did. And the Bermejo one, and I don't know if this one does it, but the Bermejo one, he's trying to tell a story in the
Yeah.
way the covers are laid out, and he has like text in there. It's cool. It's cool.
I read about that. You had just gotten all these covers throughout the run, right? Am I remembering that correctly? And
Yep.
then he makes the book that collects all the covers. And then it turns out this whole time there's been kind of a story going on. And then in short bursts of prose,
Yes,
he ties it
that's
together, right?
exactly how they
That's
did it.
that's
Very unique.
amazing.
Yeah, very unique storytelling, especially for a cover artist. It's like he is still telling a story just because he only does the first page of the book doesn't mean you know.
And I bet it really slapped too, because what I liked about A Vicious Circle is the writing is not so dense that it takes away from this absolutely head slapping art.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was just a chance to stare at that art. Like I'll admit, it was
Yeah.
pretty. It was pretty.
I go back to the one where he's laying on the ground of rocks, and the rocks just look real, just absolutely real. You look, you can pick a rock up off the page. I love it.
He's the perfect guy. So like, let's say Zack Snyder's Justice League universe stuff was still like hot and popping, right? Let's say that had made it in Earth 2, of which we live in.
Right.
Bermejo is the perfect guy to draw like Batman cover for Batman Snyderverse variant, and like cover for Superman Snyderverse variant, like because he just gets those hues, like those types of lights and color coordination that they use in those movies, and he does it on paper, or like with paint and whatever. Like he's phenomenal, dude. That's another guy that I'd love to be at a show and see what his commission rate is and see like get a remark or something. Like that guy's phenomenal.
That would be dope. I got a Cult of Carnage Misery #4. The cover is Scan.
Oh, Scan's another one that's just sick. Like,
yeah,
that digital art looks sick.
Yeah, like some people can pull it off and some people just can't. And and Scan can. So I have not read this yet. This is another one that's going to be 5 issues, so I'm going to read it after. I got roped into it because it was part of like Ultimate Carnage with Miles, and I wanted to have all that. And then they made it juicy for you with like some in-hut covers or something.
Yeah.
And so at that point it begins, well, if it's only 5 issues, might as well. So I'll, one of these, like maybe like once a month, I'll have like a recap of like, well, this ended. So here's here's how it actually came out. So I got, and man, am I just utterly stoked, just over the moon. I don't want to talk about it. I got the Art Germ cover. It's a great image.
Art Germ's great.
Art Germ's great. I did, in fact, get that Marvel Age. You can see Spider-Man, not really the city so much. There we go.
Who is that on the cover? Who did the cover?
That's definitely Spider-Man.
No, I know you.
It's Stegman, bro.
It is. Okay, because those webs are dope. And I know only certain people can freaking draw those webs like that, man. Like that, like the chonky, like the way that it in theory would have to happen for it to work, with like the wrap around it and everything like that. Phenomenal.
A key moment in X-Men Meets Spider-Man is Mr. Sinister asked him if the web shot out of his butt, and he said no. And then Mr. Sinister asked him if he wanted them to.
What is that in?
I want to say it was a Hellfire Gala. I can't. It escapes me right now. I like this was like a day for me to like after everything, and so my brain is still kind of potato for a moment.
Oh my god.
And then I might finally no. I got one more. Because I got that Action Comics Presents Doomsday, and because I had to get this Puppeteer cover, man.
Like I'll admit, I think every cover for this book was great. I'm remembering FOC for this book. Every cover was great. I went with A because I was still on a budget at that moment. So the $1 less helped me out.
Right.
But like we had just gone on that was literally the week we'd gone on the big high on Bjorn and everything like that. Because I think you had just FOC'd that first Power Rangers one with the Pink Ranger. So I was like,
Yeah.
dude, like he's right. His art is just dynamic. Like,
It's
and like
killing, man.
I'm sure a virgin or like a cardstock version of this, like where it's not all huge, like would have been
yeah.
sick. And that
Yeah.
might be an incentive I don't know about, but I'm happy with my A cover, of that. Like
It
that was
was hard for me to pull away, but the puppeteer one just like kind of slaps the Frazetta a little bit, and
and
you're gonna get me.
Puppeteer Lee, because Daryl just said never heard of that artist. Puppeteer Lee comes and goes like the wind. Because like I remember when the Batman movie, like with Pattinson came out, they did Batman movie variants, and Puppeteer Lee did one for like a Batman book. It was the one where he's standing on top of the car and everything. And I'm just like, I don't know who this artist is, but this is the most phenomenal piece of work I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
Puppeteer Lee, just they don't do it often, but when they do, it's hot.
Well, like who does that? Like Jock.
Yeah, kind of like Jock, but I feel like Jock, Jock's not my jam. Let's just say that. I
No,
don't have
I mean I got that Batman gold foil from like a
Oh
year
yeah,
ago.
like some of those are nice. Like when he was really doing that erratic, like kind of what Martin Simmons is doing now, but in his own way, Jock did it. I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So we have FOC coming up, and it's so DC did not. We're doing the show on Monday, which sucks. Lunar FOC was due yesterday, but there were no DC books on FOC. Now
Like
what does suck?
none.
What does suck though is there was a lot of image books on FOC, and if your store's ordering through Lunar, I believe that was still due yesterday. But
Dude, I meant to ask you about that.
about what?
Like I never went on to Lunar to get the Image comics.
It
did
should.
not.
It still shows up in Previews World.
I didn't see it. I didn't see anything from Image, and I saw like one Green Lantern thing or something from DC.
Let's go on this journey together.
All right, well,
And
while
let's
you
see.
pull that up, throw me on the big screen so I can show off my slabs.
Boom. Oh, you did, dude. I forgot we were talking about Inhyuk. You gotta show that one off first,
You want the Inhyuk first?
dude. It's
That's
so
kind of
clean.
like the Shiner, though.
Dude, that remark is so clean. It's almost as clean as the dang art on printed on the cover. Like that one is signed by what? James Inhyuk and Blanco, and then remarked by Inhyuk, right?
Oh yeah.
Because there's Blanco down there.
Oh yeah.
That is sick.
I cannot believe I pulled the 9.6 on this foil, though.
I know.
But I mean, I'm not sad about it. Like I said, the only one I'm sad about is my connecting covers, where one's a 9.6 and one's a 9.8. That's the only time it's ever bummed me out. Everything else has been cool. But of course, most of it's been 9.8. So
yeah, so you ain't mad anyways.
And then it's just all World Tree. This is like probably my most like blasé one, I guess. This is signed by Blanco and Tinian.
Oh, that's the Jenny Frieson
And it's
one.
the Frieson, yep.
Yep. That's dope. 9.8.
9.8. Yeah, they're all 9.8. Only the other World Tree, the Inhyuk, came back not. Then I got the Mike Coy. That is also signed by everybody, Blanco and Tinian.
Yep, dude, and he knocked that remark.
Mike
That was a dope remark right there, dude.
And then in order to save a little time, I'm not going to jump back up again, but I've got the matching card for this.
Oh yeah, the graded 9.0. Yep.
Man, I bet I can. But if I could see it from where I was sitting, I'd get up again. But it's the exact same thing. It's the card, and it comes in a box that is also the cover image.
Yeah, and he signed that.
And of course, you can order that now, I think, if they're still selling them, or you can get one on eBay. But what you can't do, unless you work for it real hard, is get one that's signed on the box like mine, because my boy Danny always gets my boxes signed.
Yeah.
Because he's a genius.
Because why not get the box signed?
Dude, I don't know, but not everybody thinks of that, but you did, and it's between you and Lord Grantham with the connecting cover signature.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like I just have like this wealth of like high standard human being around me that I really appreciate. And then I've got this one, which actually is probably a bit of an out of the parker as far as speculation goes, especially if this ever does come out as a show somewhere on Netflix. But I've got the FOC reveal for number 27 for Something is Killing the Children. And it's signed by Werther Deladera and James. And it is also a 9.8.
That's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Was that the Comics Pro one or
This
no?
is the Comics Pro.
Comics
Yep.
Pro, right? Yep. That's
so pretty stoked. Pretty stoked
right.
about my mail call. All right, let's roll.
FOC Alice Ever After. If you were doing the Florentino B covers, well, there's another nice Florentino B cover for you.
Right.
Creed next round. It's the final issue. There's another homage cover on there. It's dope. I love this Garfield 45th anniversary, like how the Marvel anniversary banner is. You see that?
What the Blackbird anniversary trade is.
Yep. Of course, Bjorn is doing a Power Rangers Green Ranger cover, which is sick.
Suddenly, I collect Power Rangers like mother, dude. As long as he's cranking those out, I'm buying them.
And there's a Lord Zed helmet cover too, if that's your thing. But Bjorn,
it's cool.
And I'm not gonna lie, this reveal cover here is also great, like a Red Ranger Zed. But I can't, and I bet you that'll be Roy. I guarantee you that'll be the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 113 Barnes cover. Will be this like red Zed Ranger.
Dude, that's gonna slap, bro.
DC, like I said, didn't have much. Marvel. Alien Annual #1, which I think is going to be the end of the Alien series before they reboot it again.
Yeah, because they're relaunching
it again. Just it's like it's weird because like I get what they're doing, but like they're like, oh yeah, we're doing it like the movies, right? Every movie is like new Alien. I'm like, you're right, you're correct, but it was like called something different. Like it was Alien, then Alien, then Alien 3, Alien 4, like. Change the name of it.
Right.
And what's crazy to me even is that they're still calling them all Volume 1s. It's just the Chavley and Ricardo trade paperback Volume 1. And it's like, nah, man, they're not understanding the whole dynamic of it.
No, it's a little
But Black Panther 5, this Sousa cover is beautiful. New Champions variant. I'm not sure what that is, but that's dope. Captain Marvel. Yep.
You might as well hear about it. I'll make it quick. The New Champions is just probably the next couple of weeks. They're just doing kind of like because Spider-Boy was so popular and mind-blowing for whatever reason, they're kind of like taking that vein and running it through these covers where it's like imagine like some like a legacy character or a sidekick character or someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just a cash grab on the Spider-Boy thing is what it feels like to me. And you'll find some really problematic ones that have people upset without context. Like the one for Storm is like a white chick.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, well, hold on, because it's just on a cover. So there's no real explanation. So I can imagine it's a pretty big slap in the face.
Well, and what's weird is, so that's the way, and if Daryl's still watching, I believe he can chime in. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. That's the way Gwenpool was actually created. Like, first appearance of Gwenpool is like a completely different book than when Gwenpool was created, because Gwenpool first showed up on a Deadpool variant of some book, and it was just Gwen as Deadpool, right? Because it was a Deadpool variant.
Yeah.
And then that was like uber popular.
Yeah.
So they said, well, here is Gwenpool. Like, so simply off of a cover. And I don't think that's happened like once. You know what I'm saying? So like that doesn't happen every day. But I'm sure people are upset thinking, well, this better not this better not be the character you go ahead and
just like I said, just like out of context. It's like, whoa, that's strong. But yeah, so that's what's going on here, because you're gonna come across a bunch of these, and so that's that.
So Captain Marvel Dark Tempest, that's on 4 or 5. Doctor Strange is on 8. There is another new champion there. Fantastic Four is on 12. That has a new champion. And a Frank Miller variant. Interesting.
Great.
Ghost Rider Annual. Is this still part of Contest of Chaos?
No.
Final. Okay. Because every annual I've seen for a while, I'm just like, oh, but that's Contest of Chaos. So A cover is great. I don't think this one's done by Bjorn. I think this
I don't
is
think so.
Valerio Giangiardo. So an Italian. And then you got Greg Land.
I got the Greg Land cover. It's not Gwen Stacy for once.
It's not. It's not. So Roy, you know anything about this Gods?
I
Looks
do.
interesting. Looks interesting.
I absolutely do. So Gods is going to be a new big project from Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti, and so I'm already hooked. Throughout the last month or few weeks, whatever, they've been inserting pages from Gods into Marvel books. It's kind of like a preview,
Uh-huh.
but it's like a lot of them are completely out of context. So you're reading your book and then you read the page and then you're like, what just happened there? And then you get back to it and you're like, oh, okay, it's Gods. And so what it is Hickman is going to kind of introduce a new aspect into the Marvel cosmology. And basically they're saying that there are these two fundamental forces, beings, whatever. We'll get more on that are the powers that be. And Whiskers, now I'm blanking. It's the powers that be and
The natural order of things.
The natural order of things. Thank you. I've been able to stumble that long enough for you to be able to look at it. Thank you. And so, like, they're going to shoehorn in these characters and say that they've been there, like, all along. And so that's always kind of difficult, but it's Hickman, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And from what I read, you can actually just go on the web and just Google it and read the pages. So if you want to see it, but you don't want to buy all those books, or you didn't buy those books, it might be completely over your head. You can just go read the pages. And so they're going to come and launch this in hard. And it's going to, like I said, it's Hickman, and he's just going to come in and try to rock it. And we'll see how he does. Maybe he'll finish this one.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, and this is cover, nothing but cover fire.
I got the Easy Curry, man.
Easy Curry's great.
Yep.
There's a Momoko and a Scotty Young for you hardcore fans. Like, this is fire. Now it is a $9.99 book, so just remember that.
I think it's like chonky though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it should be. It should be 80 plus pages.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's chonky.
Immortal Thor second printing. Immortal X-Men 16's got a dope X-Men 60th anniversary variant. It's funny because they're calling it X-Men 60th anniversary, but it seems like they're focusing on X-Men the animated series, which is only like 30 years old. But
yeah, but it's time to cash the nostalgia checks, bro.
I got you. But then you just call it the X-Men animated series 30th anniversary variants or whatever, you know?
Well, they can't because they're also doing the Saturday Morning Adventures variants.
Oh.
So there's only so many ways they can sucker you into the cartoons, you know?
That's great. This is great. All right. So there's also a Quiet Council variant. Those are great.
I got the Brooks and I got the Quiet Council because, like every other idiot in the world, we're like, oh, yeah, got to have that Quiet Council one.
I'm going to say this Jean Grey second print is beautiful. It's by Amy Reeder.
Yeah.
The story's written. You didn't read it last week yet.
Not yet, no.
So stories by Louise Simonson, old school writer, Walt Simonson's wife, you know. So like I'm intrigued about this, and it's nice. It definitely needs the second print. I know at Blackbird, and you know Dave's a big X-Men fan, so we went high, and we only had one copy left when I left Saturday. So like this is gonna need a second print, and it's beautiful.
Sells, and if it turns out to be a great story, then like
it's only 4 issues. Like
yeah.
So at that point, you're invested like $14 more or something like that.
Well, because the Fall of X is all just placeholding, and while they shake it all up, you know.
Yep. So there's the Marvel Tales Moon Knight versus Werewolf by Night, which is just reprinting some vintage Moon Knight Werewolf by Night. Usually it's 4 stories.
Man.
Red Goblin 9 down to just 1 cover, but it's in Huck, right? That's in Huck, right?
Respect. Yeah, I believe so.
No, Kendrick Lim. Sorry, I couldn't.
Is it Lim?
It is Lim.
Whatever. It was a fire cover, and I'm in for this series. Like I haven't read all the 8 issues, but the stuff that I read is because it tied into like Absolute Carnage and stuff. Like it really wasn't bad. And Pankadell is a cool guy. Like I've gotten to talk to him thanks to you, and the writing in there is great. Like it's not something that will stay unread. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not going to die with Red Goblin on my conscience.
So they got Sensational She-Hulk #1. A cover is done by Jen Bartel. Dope Adam Hughes foil variant. So that's cool.
I did not order this.
You did not?
No.
Oh man, I don't know, man.
It's too much.
I got you.
If it's pure thirst, which this would have to be for me, it has to be like Zombie Zatanna. You know
I
what I
got you.
mean?
I got you.
Like, because like this is just another book where they're
Yeah, I'm not
struggling
gonna,
to keep it afloat. So it's just
dude.
constant reboots. Like,
No, what this is just cover candy. Because look, there's this A cover by Bartel. Dude, just listen to the artist I'm about to drop to you. A
heard.
cover by Bartel. Let's just call this B cover Adam Hughes. C cover Adi Gronoff. I do not know who this artist is, and they
No.
did not finish their work in time. That's fine. We're moving on. Lyrics. I don't know who this Lucas Wernick is, but that's a
Oh,
cool cover. It's a cool cover.
I'm not a super fan of. Well, I think it's like zombie wide because they're bringing it back and they want to stay. It looks like they want to stay away from like how Sweetum and Phillips did it.
Yeah.
So they're like getting these artists to try to like they're like make it look like, but not too much
But
like.
not
And so
that. Yeah.
yeah, so I haven't really been too impressed with any of the zombie covers I've seen. But Lucas Wernick is amazing and does a
Yes.
lot of X-Men work, which is why you're not
Yes,
so
that's
good.
where I'd seen it. So Lucas
Yeah,
Wernick there. Then
Wernick is
you have
amazing.
Mirka Andolph doing a new champions. You've got my girl Rian
Yeah,
Gonzalez, and then you got Scotty.
yeah. They're pumping it at you, all right.
They almost have provided a cover for almost everybody, and then they know dang well that there is Hulk and She-Hulk fans that are gonna buy
Sure,
one of each.
absolutely.
We're still doing Return of the Jedi covers and Clone Wars covers, so Nick is gonna be so
Yeah.
excited. Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
What?
Sorry. It's the best part of Fanboy Expo, and I completely left it out. We got to see Nick.
Oh, we got to see Nick again. He came for a day. He got to meet Ian. He was so happy. He got his
Yeah.
signed, dude. That kid loves like getting to meet his heroes. Like I think at New
I
York
love
Comic
watching
Con,
him do it.
dude. At New York Comic Con, and I probably won't be the one that gets to watch him do it because Tony's the one that deals with the celebrities. But he's got a Chris Evans. I don't know if it's a photo op or an autograph, but he's got Chris Evans and Ewan McGregor, dude.
Rad.
Like right. So there's a new Star Wars High Republic, Shadows of Starlight. Looks like it includes Yoda. Jump on that if that's your thing. Strange Academy, Amazing Spider-Man 1. Looks like there's really just a series of one-shots at this point.
Yeah, which I picked up on that too, but I'm wondering if I missed that. Did I order that? I'll have to look.
X-Force, the longest running X book at this point.
And it's the probably overall like the best one. Like I can now say like solidly that like I like Benjamin Percy's writing.
Yep. Did you do
I'll
that?
stand by that. I'm enjoying Ghost Rider. I'm enjoying X-Force. I'm enjoying Wolverine. Like, I'm a Benjamin Percy fan for sure.
Dude, and then X-Men 27's got a Perez cover, which is sick. So this is what you're talking. The Stormbreakers seem to be leaning zombie-esque.
Because they're doing like zombies, red, white, and blood, or whatever they're doing, and so it's time to cash in on zombie money again.
There you go. So that's sick. Then their 60th anniversary is an homage to X-Men 1.
It's hard to turn that down.
Lord Grantham, baby. You know he's getting that.
Yeah.
Then there's a new Champions by Momoko and a Dodderman trading card. They're still doing those. Rasputin the 4th.
I get all the trading card covers.
Dynamite. Do they have anything worth talking about? They are eventually going to have that Dracula book by Tynan and Simmons, which I'm going to be super excited to talk to y'all
Oh,
about.
yeah, man. That's going to be dope.
I do think this 30 Days a Night deluxe hardcover is kind of cool. I'm not ordering it just because I've read 30 Days a Night, but I think that's cool. That's back in print. It's much better in comic book form than it was in that movie with Josh Hartnett, just if anybody's trying to compare the two.
Didn't they make there's like a backup movie that wasn't that bad though?
I mean, I'm sure.
There is. It's like it's a I can't remember what it is, but it adapts like another story from that universe, and it was like way better than the 30 Days.
Oh yeah, that writer, I forget what his name is. Steve Niles. Steve Niles. He's definitely done some good stuff. He did he's done like 2 books in the last half year that are great current books. Like I think Nightwalkers was one, and there's another one, but he's still in that world, you know.
Yeah, it's his thing, man.
Image. So here's an Image book. See, Roy? They just I think don't have the covers for them, which is in bad taste. But Tony S. Daniels' new book, Edenwood, is coming out. It's written and drawn by him, so that's always cool when somebody's putting in that much effort.
You know it's their best.
Yeah, you know that's a what do you call it? Passion project.
Yeah.
So this cool. I thought this was cool. This Godzilla library collection from IDW, 1999. That if you really like Godzilla and want to read some old school Godzilla, that's that. I need to see if it's gonna let me order this. I'm actually not logged in, probably.
I ordered the other
Oh,
cover.
I wanted to support Patrick. That was my big thing. I'll admit. When I saw that the B one wasn't Patrick, I wanted A. But this is our homie Travis Gibb. Shout out to Travis Gibb. This book goes on FOC today. Granite State Punk Breaking Edge is technically the second one shot in the Granite State Punk series. You, in theory, don't need to read the first one to read this, but the first one was also released by Scout Comics, so your local comic shop can still order those. But yeah, is it Zeke? Zeke's the main character, right?
Zeke.
Zeke is punk rocker, just out of prison on hard times, and Granite State is New Hampshire. So the first issue is about the man in the mountain, and I believe we're going to go into more of that in this second one, Breaking Edge. Patrick Boymayer is the interior artist, and he did the A cover.
This is
Phenomenal
actually
work.
a different mythos.
It is a different. Oh, it's a different mythos.
It's a different New England mythos.
There you go. There you go. So it's Man in the Mountain is the first one, and then it's kind of another cryptid or another mythos of New Hampshire that he uses in this one. And C.R. Florence from Black Sam is doing the B cover, so that is cool. So I just want to shout out Travis with that for sure. Man.
Absolutely.
This looks kind of cool. It's by Whatnot Publishing, which I hate, but it's called Hellacious. Looks kind of fun. I'm not ordering it, but I just like I like to point out fun things, right? Now, everybody doesn't need to buy what I'm buying. Like, this Hunger and Dusk series has actually been really cool. It's on issue 3. Super cool series.
Probably not a good jumping on point.
No. But maybe your comic store still has 1s and 2s. I think we have blank covers for 1 and then some 2s.
Oh yeah, don't let me turn you off to it. There's plenty of times that I've come in and then ended up having to go back and hunt them
This
down.
is kind of cool. If you're into tarot, there's a Marvel tarot deck and guidebook. So if you're into trying to get into it, there's a guidebook that comes along with it. Plus, it's a nerdy theme for you, even if you just want them to look at. So that's cool.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Midnight Show number 1 from Dark Horse. This is written by Colin Bunn. So Colin Bunn is probably what I think is I know a lot of people would say this is James Tynion, but I'm going to be comfortable saying Colin Bunn is kind of the current best horror writer out there. Like, if you like horror and Bunn is writing something, like, pick up the first issue.
Yeah, he's definitely getting a lot of work. I can tell you that.
Yep. What else I got? Anything else? This North Valley Grimamore has a Mission Impossible variant homage, which they always do something like that. Operation Sunshine number 1. Never heard of the writer, but if you like horror, from New York Times best-selling host of the hit Last Podcast on the Left. So artist is Dave Ruby from Black Hammer, and then it's written by the host of the Last Podcast on the Left horror podcast. So there you go. I've given you information.
But does it tell you who that is?
Yeah, they have names.
Who is it? I want to know.
Henry Zaborowski and Marcus Parks.
No idea.
Yeah, right. I'm assuming it's like a real popular, but
I've heard of the podcast.
You have? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked who it was.
So Plot Holes is getting a second print if you did not get your hands on that first issue. And then the second issue has your Sean Murphy cover. This is an homage to Something Image, right?
Let me see it.
It's this middle one right here.
Yeah, but I can't see. Man.
Yeah. Here, hold on. I'll go.
I'm so old. I see you, handsome.
You about to see this cover. What do you think that? What do you think that's homaging? It might not even be Image. Maybe this is like some Spider-Man or Daredevil or something.
The corner box gives Marvel.
Cover artist Clash Johnson, and it doesn't.
Oh, look! It says it right in the box. An homage to the Punisher #1. Look at that. We both failed.
Oh, there we go.
We both failed hard on that one.
Good. That is good. That's what I would call good solicitation, though. You know, like they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna have questions about this," and it's like, guess what? I got an answer.
We got an answer for you.
Let's see what else we got. Someone else. We got some Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's been coming out heavy. I haven't super realized it.
Yeah.
Some more Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog Halloween special. So if you want to just get a one shot for your kiddo,
Right.
Sonic the Hedgehog. The one shot, and I wish this machine hasn't been working, or pull box hasn't been working all freaking weekend. But Space Yosagi, I'm excited about that. Stan Sakai doing like a Yosagi Yojimbo goes to space kind of story. It's a one
Why not?
shot. Like he's not gonna take it too serious, but I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like and Yosagi is like a lot to ingest, so I like having a one shot. Like just hey,
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. You want to talk about legacy numbers?
Yeah, right.
That's a legacy book.
I don't think I know anybody who's working on this, but the Tales from the Cave one shot from Mad Cave, that's a Halloween horror one shot. Let's see. David Hazan, who is the writer of Nottingham, is in this. Shane Cornery Volk, who's also the artist from Nottingham, is in this. And then a few other people I'm not super familiar with. It looks like the creators from Hunt, Kill, Repeat are on this. But fans of the Three Worlds are going to Pumpkin. Oh, so it looks like there's a pumpkin that is the main character throughout the stories. And then the three people that are writing stories in it are the people that had recently won the Mad Cave talent searches and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So
That's cool.
Cool little idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's see what else we got. Ninja
That
Turtles.
ribbon cover was cool.
Oh, which one?
The Ribbon Queen, number 3. It's Diodato Jr.
Diodato Jr., dude. He's one of AWA's best artists right now, like for sure. TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures is doing a Halloween special, $6.99 one shot, so it'll be a little bit thicker. I do love this cover. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the Dia de los Muertos cover. TMNT Yosagi Yojimbo Where When #1 Director's Cut. So that's cool if you just want like a collector's piece of that crossover. Unnatural Order looks cool. Penguin Random House, or sorry, not Penguin. Vault Comics is putting this out, written by Chris Yost, who is the co-creator of X-23.
Yeah, with Craig Kyle.
He's written hundreds of X-Men issues and films.
Yeah, they worked together like inseparably for like the longest time. Craig Kyle and Chris Yost.
Yep.
Everything from cartoons, comics, movies. Yeah, like you said, everything.
So that is a cool. If you like horror and you just want some cool stuff, do that Unnatural Order. What else? Void Rivals 4. World Tree is going to a 5th print for #1, a 4th print for #2, a 3rd print for #3, a 2nd print for #4, and and I heard 4 was a great issue. That was this week's issue, I believe.
Gotta catch up.
I think that is it. Yeah. The rest of this is magazines. Yep. So that is it for the FOC for this upcoming week. And that's also going to be it for our show.
What's up?
Roy, any last words? What do you think? What do you think about comics coming up? Comics that we just had? What are your thoughts?
I still just focused on, like I said, man, potato brain today. Like had just digesting everything that happened at Fanboy Expo. It was, like I said, it was a real big deal to me, and so like that's kind of just where my head is. I'm always excited for comics coming up. I'm not always excited for what happens after that, but I'm always excited for them coming up. So, but no, man, other than that, like as always, man, be good to each other, have fun, I had a great time. So
I just looked into what's coming out next week, just because, since we always talk about it after, and I have to ask just so I'm prepared, because maybe I'll pick it up if you're not. Did you FOC the Jay Baruchel book? Do you know who Jay Baruchel is?
I know who he is, but
it's a Dark Horse book called Tear Us Apart.
Huh? No, I didn't, but that sure is interesting.
I'll probably be picking it up this week. It's only got one cover. He's written a few things like Captain Canuck and stuff in the past because he's Canadian as well. But I like him in a lot of movies, and Captain Canuck was all right. I really could care less about it.
She's Out of Your League was hysterical.
Yeah, and I love him in This Is the End because he's like the reluctant friend, and I mean, he's great. So
he is.
Two I feel like underappreciated actors are Jay Baruchel and what's the kid from Jeepers Creepers and Accepted?
Justin Long.
Justin Long, bro. I think he's I'm not saying he's phenomenal. I'm saying he's
But
underappreciated.
I think the problem with both of those actors is that they're not necessarily, and I don't want this sounds rude. I don't mean it this way. The best way to put it is they play themselves.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And
so you need to have a part for that guy.
Yep,
you know what I mean? That's why like Paul Rudd kills it at Paul Rudd things, because I'm pretty sure that's just Paul Rudd. Like we talked about that. So, but that's the thing. Like I don't, but like I don't want to see Jay Baruchel in like an action flick. Like good.
No, you're right. Well, he was great in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
I know. And then next week also starts the what are they calling them? Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh yeah.
Hispanic Heritage Month covers for DC. I know we get our Bane one for Batman. There's a few others. Shout out to DC for doing that. Just for doing it. Period. Because I do not believe Marvel ended up doing that this year. I could be wrong, but I don't think they.
I don't think I saw any.
Yeah. I know we do this show every week, and I don't think I saw any, but I could be wrong. But
they used it all up, used up all their cultural appreciation on AAPI, huh?
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe they'll be a month late. They'll be like, oh, sorry, we forgot October. Here you go.
Oh, man. Dude, that would just be the worst.
Because you got to remember, Hispanic Heritage Month actually does not start until September 15th.
Okay.
We have 2 half months. We go September 15th to October 14th or something right there in that window. So it could not be too late. But anyways.
Better jump on it, Marvel. Yeah. You got a little bit of time.
Pick those up from DC if you'd like.
Yeah.
The store does.
Villalobos covers.
Yep. They're all Villalobos, so that's extra cool. But take it easy, Roy. Take it easy, fam. It's been good seeing y'all.